Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to week number 12, a recorded lecture number 32. In today's lecture, we will cover remaining three ethical theories. We have already covered two ethical theories in the previous recorded lecture. Now, after utilitarianism, we move towards two very basic and important theories of ethics or morality, right ethics and duty ethics. Both of the theories emphasize respect for individuals, dignity, and worth, in contrast with utilitarians' emphasis on the general good. As we have already discussed, that in utilitarianism, the focus was on maximum good, most good for the most people, right? Again, most people, not 100%, though they also try to cover every individual, but the focus is most good for the most people. Whereas these two theories, right ethics and duty ethics, have more focus on individuals. They say every individual has a right and every individual has a duty to perform. Rights ethics and duty ethics are largely mirror images of each other, and some of the experts believe they are two sides of the same coin. Well, one side is rights and the second side is duty. Actually, they are closely interlinked and it's difficult to separate them. We can say, well, one's right is others' duty and others' duty is one's right. I mean, just to make it simple, like in our context, teacher and student relationship, my duty means teacher's duty is student's right and student's duty is teacher's right. So they are interlinked, right? For example, you have a right to life and I have a duty not to kill you. As I have given teacher-student example, that one's duty is others' right and others' right is one's duty. Now let's talk about human rights. Human rights, and within that we are going to focus rights in engineering. Now the first right within engineering domain we say is holding paramount the safety, health and welfare of the public can be interpreted as having respect for public's rights to life, their rights to privacy, rights not to be injured, and rights to receive benefits through fair and honest exchanges in free market. So when we, like, this article or code has been quoted earlier as well, and now we are linking it with the human rights. Then when we say that safety, health and welfare of public, it means this all. Employers have rights to faithful service from employees. Well, it's employers' right that their employees, their workers are faithful to them, they are faithful to the organizations. employees have rights to reciprocal, fair, and respectful treatment from the employers. So it's not only that employers or owners or recruiters have the rights. Of course, their rights are that the employees should be sincere to them and faithful to them. At the same time, there are employees' rights. What are employees' rights? That they should be treated with fair and respectful way. So rights are on both sides, on the side of employer and on the side of employee. Nearly all ethical theories leave room for rights. Okay, now let's talk about two versions of right ethics. The first one is liberty rights. Liberty rights are rights to exercise one's liberty, one's freedom. They place duties on other people not to interfere with one's freedom. So in liberty right, the focus is on individual rights, individual freedom, my right, my freedom. Liberty rights deny welfare, human rights, and hence sometimes called negative rights, because they do not support human rights, and they are just individual rights. That's why sometimes they are also called negative rights. We will discuss welfare rights in the next slide. Libertarians believe that only liberty rights exist, there are no welfare rights. So they do not believe in welfare of others, they do not believe in welfare of society. So they believe there are only liberty rights, individual rights, my rights. If I earn, so it's my right to have all of that money, and not considering others living around me. So for libertarian, there are no welfare rights. The second version of right ethics are welfare rights. Welfare rights are rights to benefits needed for a decent, moral human life when one cannot earn those benefits. For example, if someone is handicapped and when the community has them available. See, if we take it this way, that the community, the country has those basic needs. For example, we can say food, shelter, clothing, education. These are basic needs, and the society has it. I mean, the country where that individual lives, that average person of that society has all these needs. But because the person is handicapped, or maybe because the person is old and cannot earn enough to meet those basic needs of human life, so welfare rights would say, well, he or she should be provided with the basic rights, and rest other members of the society are actually going to help him to get those rights, and that can be in shape of some help and arrangements given by the government of that country. And of course, governments are supported by the public tax, so it means indirectly such people are supported by the people of that country. So they are welfare rights, rights of others. As contrast to negative rights, they are sometimes called positive rights. Like for the previous individual rights, they were only my rights, I have it. Now that's why they were labeled negative rights. Whereas welfare rights, because they are for others, so they are called positive rights. Human rights are related to communities of people, right? They are not individual. So all basic rights. There are also some special moral rights. The last two versions were general and they are applicable to every member of a society, of course according to the society norms and standards. But special rights are held by particular individuals rather than every human being. The last two were for every human being, but these special rights are for specific people rather than every human being in a society. For instance, engineers and their employers have special moral rights that arise from their respective roles and contracts they make with each other. Now, this is a particular specific situation. And of course, these rights are only for those who are involved in that particular situation. Like in this case, engineers' rights and their employers' rights. Of course, engineers have some rights on their employers, and similarly, in return, there are some rights that employers have on their engineers who are working under them. Special rights are indirectly grounded in human rights. Of course, though they are special, but actually they are their basic source, their root is the human right. Of course, these special people, whether they are employers or engineers or doctors or teachers, first they are human, then they have their special roles. So that's why special rights are indirectly grounded in human rights. There are some rights that are called absolute rights. Human rights to pursue one's legitimate interest do imply rights not to be poisoned, injured, or killed by technological products whose dangers are not obvious or are deliberately hidden. So it is every human's legal right that he or she should not be poisoned or injured or killed by technological project. For example, you are going to be computer engineers. So all those products that you are going to make in future, maybe for commercial purposes or other purposes. So one thing, it must be kept in mind that they are not going to be harmful for the end user or the people who come in contact with them, because it is every human's right, legal right, that he or she should not be injured or harmed or killed by those technological products, or as a matter of fact any types of products. These rights are rights to informed consent when purchasing or using products or services that might be dangerous. That's why you see in our everyday life, even if we if we download some software, we get that a long list at the end. We have one option, I agree, and you check that, and then only then it moves forward. So that is actually informed consent. So we are expected to read all those terms and conditions, and then we agree that okay, willingly I'm going to be part of this software, or I'm going to join this website, or I'm willing to use this service, or I'm willing to use this product. Like An example is also airline ticket, that in which informed consent is taken from uh, all passengers. Now, moving towards duty ethics. So far we have covered rights ethics. Moving towards duty ethics. According to duty ethics, right actions are those required by duties to respect the liberty or autonomy of individuals. Right? So duty ethics says what is correct action, what is right action, what is good action. They are the ones respect the liberty or autonomy of individual, respect others' liberty, respect others' autonomy. This is focus of duty ethics. One writer suggests duties as, this is from right ethics perspective: don't kill, don't cause pain, don't disable, don't deprive of freedom, don't deprive of pleasure, don't deceive, keep your promises, don't cheat, obey the law, do your duty, referring to the work, family, and other special responsibilities. Immanuel Kant, a philosopher, the most famous duty ethicist, argued that all such specific duties derive from one's fundamental duty to respect others. So, if we fulfill this one duty in which we respect others, then automatically the above suggested duties in point number 2, don't kill, don't cause pain, so on and so forth. If we respect other persons, obviously we will not be doing this all. And if we are not doing this all, we are actually fulfilling our duties. Immorality occurs when we merely use others. In duty ethics, what is immorality? When we use others, right? What is using others? People should not be used. Products are made to be used, but people should not be used like products, that as long as they are beneficial for you, you use them, then you discard them off. So people are not like products. So they should not, if someone treats human being, subordinates, colleagues, workers, students, teachers, that okay, fine, for this semester, okay, I'll be good with them as long as my work is done, okay, I'll throw them away. So this is a wrong approach. This should not occur with people. And if someone behaves or treats like this, actually the person is an immoral person. So violent acts such as murder, rape, and torture are obvious ways of treating people as merry objects serving our own purposes. Well, because someone did not like another person, he or she kills him, or he or she assaults physically, that is rape. Again, that is using people only as a thing, and torturing others. So they are violent act, and they cause immorality. So using people to merry means to our ends, treating them as a merry objects to glorify our needs. So people are not just to fulfill our needs, they are human beings, and we cannot just use them as products. Kant's famous words: act so that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in that of another, always as an end and never as a means. So Though we have discussed this point, but in Kant's words, that is, treat people not only as means but as an end. What is as an end? That okay, at the end we are positive towards them, uh, we respect them, and we give them all those human rights that are needed, and we just do not use them only products for our own purposes, and then that's it. According to Kant, duties are universal, they apply equally to all rational beings. These all basic human duties, they are universal. For example, not killing others is equally applicable in every part of the world, whether it be Pakistan or China or India or Europe or the USA. They apply equally to all rational human beings. Rational human beings, those who are mature human beings, who are mentally sane, who can think. So, these basic duties are universal, they are applicable to all. One cannot say that this duty, basic human duty of taking care of others, is applicable only in Europe. No, it is applicable everywhere in every part of the world. Kant believes moral duties are categorical or imperatives. Categorical imperatives. As imperatives, they are injunctions or commands that we impose on ourselves as well as on other rational beings. Okay, moving towards prima facie duties. To emphasize that most duties have some justified exceptions, the philosopher David Rose introduced the term prima facie duties. In technical sense, prima facie simply means might have justified exceptions. According to Kant, everyday principle duties such as don't lie, keep your promises are absolute in the sense of never having justifiable exceptions. He gave three ideas. Number one, universality. Moral rules apply to all rational beings. Like rules are same, moral rules are same for Pakistanis, for Canadians, for Europeans, for Australians, and for everyone. Like duty like don't tell a lie is applicable to everyone, every rational human being in this world. Secondly, they have categorical imperatives. Moral rules command what is right because it is right. It's not just because in this situation it is right. No, basically that is a right. For example, telling truth is right, so it is right in every situation. Absolutism. Moral rules have no exceptions, no exception at all. Like taking bribe is morally wrong, and under no circumstances one can receive bribe or one can demand bribe. There is no exception. Receiving bribe in any case is uh, immoral. Moral reasons are many and varied. Given the complexity of human life, they often come in conflict with each other, thereby creating moral dilemmas. As we have discussed, dilemma, all those situations where there are more than one uh, options which can be considered to be right. Contemporary duty ethicists recognize that many moral dilemmas are resolvable only by recognizing some valid exception to simple principles of duties. So, if you want to uh, resolve those dilemmas, understand them, and make the right needed decision, then one needs to understand the basic principles of duties. Thus, engineers have a duty to maintain confidentiality about information owned by their corporations, but that duty can be overridden by paramount duty to protect the safety, health, and welfare of the public. For example, engineers have one duty that they should keep the company secret. But if company is developing a product that is going to be dangerous for human life or for human safety, then the human safety is more important than the company confidentiality, according to this point. Okay, virtue ethics. Virtue ethics emphasizes character more than rights and rules, whether that individual is a good character or a bad character. Character is patron of virtues. What is virtues? Morally desirable features, and vices, morally undesirable feature in an individual. If an individual has positive characteristics that are desirable, for example, the person tells the truth is desirable, so a virtuous character. And vices are the bad characteristics. For example, someone takes bribe, that is a negative characteristic, so someone who takes bribe is a negative character. Virtues are desirable habits or tendencies in action, commitment, motive, attitude, emotion, ways of reasoning, and ways of relating to others. Words specific virtues in everyday life are competence, honesty, courage, fairness, loyalty, and humanity. So, if someone has these characteristics, he is a virtuous character. He or she is a good and positive character. On the other hand, vices are morally undesirable habit or tendencies. For example, words for specific vices are incompetence, dishonesty, cowardice, unfairness, disloyalty, and arrogance. If someone has these characteristics, it means he is a negative or a bad character. He or she is a bad character. I'm sorry, it's not only he. Okay, so now let us move towards virtues in engineering. The most comprehensive virtue of engineers is responsible professionalism. This umbrella term implies four overlapping categories of virtues. The first is public well being, secondly, professional competence, third, cooperative practices, number four, personal integrity. So, a professionally responsible engineer should have these four characteristics. Only then he or she becomes a virtuous engineer. Public spirited virtues, they are focused on the good of the client and wider public. Of course, they should also be part of an engineer's professional responsibility. Proficiency virtues, they are the virtues of mastery of one's profession, in particular mastery of the technical skills that characterize good engineering practices, right? So one should be able to perform his or her technical job very well. That is part of his or her virtuous character. If someone becomes an engineer and then is unable to perform the technical part, so professionally that's not a virtuous engineer. Team virtues are those that are especially important in enabling professionals to work successfully with others. See, when we become professionals, we join an organization or we may establish our own organization. In either of the case, we have to work with others. So working with others, performing job with them, coordinating with them is called team virtues, and of course that is needed in engineering. Then self-governance virtues, those necessary in exercising moral responsibility. Some of them center on moral understanding and good moral judgment. Like rights ethics, duty ethics, and utilitarianism, virtue ethics takes alternative form. Loyalty to employers and loyalty to community. So, according to Samuel Florman, it is virtue ethics is loyalty to employers, and according to Aristotle, virtue ethics in engineering is loyalty to community. Aristotle's version is broader than Samuel Florman's. Now, moving towards the last and fifth ethical or moral theory, which is self-realization and self-interest. Self-realization ethics gives greater prominence to self-interest and to personal commitments that individuals develop. So it is more focused on individual self. Ethical egoism. Ethical egoism is, it says then, each of us ought always and only to promote our own self-interest. The theory is ethical because it is a theory about morality, and it is egoistic because it says the sole duty of each of us is to maximize our well-being. So, they say it is self-centered, my well-being, or the most very close community well-being. But usually the focus is self-interest, my well-being, my betterment, and all that. Okay, virtue ethics. Virtue ethics emphasizes character more than rights and rules, whether that individual is a good character or a bad character. Character is patron of virtues. What is virtues? Morally desirable features, and vices, morally undesirable feature in an individual. If an individual has positive characteristics that are desirable, for example, the person tells the truth is desirable, so a virtuous character. And vices are the bad characteristics. For example, someone takes bribe, that is a negative characteristic, so someone who takes bribe is a negative character. Virtues are desirable habits or tendencies in action, commitment, motive, attitude, emotion, ways of reasoning, and ways of relating to others. Words specific virtues in everyday life are competence, honesty, courage, fairness, loyalty, and humanity. So, for many individuals, religious beliefs and spiritual attitudes are especially important personal commitments, relevant to all aspects of their lives, including their professional lives. Like many individuals, they value their religious belief and spiritual attitude in their personal life and commitment, in their social life and commitment, and in their professional life and commitments. Now, as a last question, since we have covered 5 of the theories, so the question is, which ethical theory is the best? Ethical theories are attempts to provide clarity and consistency, systematic and comprehensive understanding, and helpful practical guidance in moral matters. So, the purpose is that these theories can help us resolve the moral issues that we come across in our profession, to be more specific for this course, and then moral issues that we face as a student, as a family member, or as a society member. So these moral theories help us reach the right decision in such moral issues. Sound ethical theories succeed in meeting these aims, the following given aims. They are clear and coherent. They organize basic moral values in a systematic and comprehensive way. Number 3, they sound ethical theories provide helpful guidance that is compatible with our most carefully considered moral conviction, that are judgments or intuition about concrete situations. All ethical theories we have covered satisfy the criteria of sound ethical theories up to the high degree.